Hello everyone and welcome to this Asana free version tutorial where we'll be showing you how to use Asana for project management. So you have the option to get started right here or click on get started right here. If you have an account already, you can click on the login option to begin. So we're going to click on get started, assuming you're starting from scratch. And here you have the option to put in your company address in order to sign up, but we're going to be using continue with Google Work account. So we're going to click on this. And it's taken us to this page where we'll be selecting the Google account we'd like to use. So go ahead and choose one of them, click on continue to confirm. And on this page, we have our name written, Bradley Martin, so this is good. Then we have our photo, which is our display picture. This is quite important if you want others to simply identify you by simply looking at your photo. So we're going to click on it to add a photo. So it's taken us to our local drive. We're going to click on this. Click on open, and here you have our photo right there. And of course, you can see you're signing up as you're going to see the email address which you used. Then we're going to click on continue. You'll need to provide some information about your work. Now, this is information regarding your role in your organization, which function best describes your work, and what you want to use Asana for. So you're going to say what's your role. You're going to say manager. So we're thinking about being a project manager since we're using Asana for project management. And then which function best describes your work. Click on the drop down and we're going to look for some information that applies to us. Great. We can see product management. There are other options, of course. We're just choosing product management. Or of course, if you want to choose project or program management, we could actually switch to this one right here. This is basically up to you. What do you want to use Asana for? We're going to choose an option that applies to us. Choose project management, right? So I'm a manager working on a project and we'll be using Asana for project management. So Asana knows this now. So we're going to click on continue. And then Asana is ready to help you set up your first project. So what's something you and your team are working on? So right here, we have a personalized digital photo album as a gift. So say we're working as a logistic or gift company. So let's say this is just an example of a project. So we're going to click on continue. So we're going to be filling in some tasks that would have to do for the personalized digital photo album as a gift. So we have 3 spaces right here. We're just going to fill it or populate it. So we have some tasks that we'd like to do, such as gathering and selecting photos, then choosing album platform and software, and design album layout. These are some of the tasks that will be required in order to get the goal of this particular project. So this is what you'll be required to do. As you know already, there are steps required for a project to be successful. So click and continue. So here it asks the question, how would you group these tasks into sections or stages? So we have to do, doing, and done. These are basic and nice, so we can go ahead with it. Click and continue. Of course, in your case, you might want to choose what works for you. This is basically up to you, and Asana helps to facilitate your project. So click and continue. We're going to choose the layout style. So you have the list. If we click on the board, you can see how it looks like. If we click on timeline, you can see how it also looks like. And calendar, these are beautiful options. And that's why Asana are one of the best options out there. So if we choose board, we're kind of lacking board at this point. So we're going to go ahead and choose this one, right? And of course, at the bottom right here, with each of these options, it says list is great for tracking work, board is great for moving work through stages, timeline is great for visualizing with deadlines and dependencies, and calendar is great for scheduling work for your team. But of course, you have to go with which is best for you. So click on continue. And of course, since you're managing a team, you'll need to provide email addresses since you're not working alone. Of course, if you are, you can simply say, take me to my project. Now, if you don't add email addresses right here, you can always add email addresses after this stage. So this is not a final deal. It's just to help Asana help you add members already. So you're going to go through the process of adding email after email just to have your team members doing the work as you're working with them. So click on take me to my project. And of course, if you're starting out for the first time, Asana provides a 14-day trial as it starts at this point. So you're going to click on the close or click on get started. Basically, it's going to have to take you to your dashboard, which is your primary objective. Great, and this is our Asana dashboard. You can see from what we selected the board, and you can see the three tasks which we have to do. So these are currently to-do tasks. You have the doing board or the doing stage, and then you have the done stage, right? Of course, you could add one more section called completed task or tasks delivered, right? So you can know or distinguish between tasks that have been done and then tasks that are yet to be delivered. So this is good. So you have all these tasks, and say you want to move one of these tasks to the doing aspect, you can simply hold it, click and drag on it to the doing part of the process. So it's that easy. Now, say for example, we're currently here and we're trying to assign it and add some more members. You can see our picture is right here, Bradley Martins, and it repeats itself all through, right? So this is something you want to take note of. We're going to click on Gather and Select Photos to see some details about it. You can see assignee, Bradley Martins, and it's recently assigned, right? And then you have the due date. Now, if you have others working for you or working with you, you can set a date close in the future or anywhere ahead of time. So you could choose 15th, and so you have 8th to 15th of May, right? So then you have also project, and this is basically the project that has to be done. And you could add other projects to them if you want to, dependencies if you want to, and the priority and status. Now, you can click on priority and say high if you want this to be a high priority, right? We're going to click on high and it's changed to high priority, and then also here high priority. Then of course you have the status, if it's on track or if it's at risk or if it's off track. Now, of course, if it's getting closer to the deadline, you can come over here, or the person who is handling it, if they're facing some challenges, just to update the team, and just at a glance, they will know which task is currently having challenges. So this is currently on track. But of course, you have choose album, platform, and software currently on a medium priority, and it's currently at risk. And then you have the design album layout off track, right? So these are just examples, not actualities. And this is just to help you know how you can work with Asana. Now, here is the description. So gather and select photos, right? So we're going to write some information. So here we have the description of gathering and selecting photos, meet with client for a link to selected photos. So we have the description right there. Then of course you have comments and all activity. Now, comment is where it shows you what has been done, such as Bradley Martins creating this task, the time it was created, and then of course you have activity. So you see Bradley Martins assigned you, added personalized digital photo album as a gift project, and then change the date from whatever it was before. So you can see how Asana provides updated information pertaining to this task, which is quite important if you are to succeed in your tasks, right? And then, of course, you have the like this task, attach files to it, add a subtask, or split the work into smaller parts, creating task link, expanding this if you want to see it in a full screen. And if we click on this, you can see exactly how it looks like. Then, of course, you could shrink it up back to where it was, and then you have the more option. You could add another project, decide to add tags, or create a follow-up task or merge duplicate tasks. Then you have the option to summarize and draft subtasks, converts to a milestone, approval, etc. Now, of course, if this is something that needs an approval, this is a great option because you could simply choose the approval option, and once it's approved, the person assigned to it will know what to do with it. If they want to duplicate this task for some reason, they can do that as well. And then you have the option to print and make public to this workspace. If you're done with this, or if you don't want it anymore, you can click on delete task. So these are different options that are available per task on your job board, right? So we're going to click away and it disappears. So everything repeats with other tasks, and you know that by now what to do with each task board, right? Great. So let's say we're done with gathering the selected photos. We can move it over here. So we could do that, or before doing that, you could click on it and click on mark as completed, and you can see you just saw a celebration and that has been notified by others. Now, the next thing, of course, is to move it from to do to doing, right? And if that was in the process of doing, they can move it it over. And if it's really done, you could move it to done, right? And so you could repeat the process for the others. You could move choosing the album and platform software if that's what you're doing. And of course, you could have the design layout simultaneously being done on the other hand while the album is being chosen, right? So these are options to follow. Now, if you want to change the layout along the way, maybe you feel that this isn't working for you, you don't need to panic because you can actually change it along the way. So we could see that we're currently on board. If we want to move it to list, we can move it also to list. You can see how it looks like, right? You have to do and then doing and then done. It doesn't actually change the content of your project. It only changes the layout, and that's pretty fine. And that's good because if you want to change it later on, this is pretty much up to you. So we have that. And then you have dashboard, calendar, workflow, messages. Now, when you click on messages, this is where you'll be messaging with other team members. And this is a great way to communicate with others while they're working with you. Now on files, this is where you get to see all the files that have been added. If you're talking about organizing a photo album, maybe there will be a folder to add to Asana for others to see that, hey, these are the photos that have been added, or this is the album or folder that has been added. Of course, you could add a tab and you get to choose when you click on the plus icon there. If you want to add a list, a Gantt chart, basically something we have already, and you could click on other to get a workload where you get to manage your team's time and capacity. Then on the left side right here, you have your home. When we click on home, it takes us to where we have our home, where you get to see your tasks and the project you're managing. So you might be able to manage multiple projects, and it's not just limited to one project. You can click on create a project, and it's going to ask you if it's a blank project, if you want to use a template or import a project. So this is pretty much up to you. And then you can see tasks that you've been assigned to, goals, and people. Now, these are functions that will be showing to other members, so they can come over and see the tasks that they've been assigned to, and they will know what they need to do. And they will also get to see the projects that they are currently involved in. And at the top right here, you can see my week. You can see how many tasks you've completed, how many other collaborators are working with you. And this is a great info for you if you're just coming in to get up to speed. And then of course you have the inbox right here. And when you click on reporting, it's going to show you some statistics, but you'll need to get started in order for you to see some information based on your activity. So you can come over to the home to add a new project, or on the sidebar, you can click on the plus icon right here. Then of course you have team, and this is currently your workspace. And here is where you can get to invite other members. Remember, we had the option before, and now we have the option once again. You could invite members, and when you click on it, you can see the email addresses you might want to add, and then decide the project you will be adding them to. So if you have multiple projects, you can actually search for them right here. Or if you want to add them to multiple projects, you could add them to this. You could actually choose more than one, or if it's just this one, you can do that. And once you put the email address, the send button will be active for clicking, and then they will receive the invitation. Of course, if you want to pay for an Asana plan, you can click on add billing info, and then of course you could go ahead and purchase a plan. When you click on the three dashes right here, it minimizes what you have on the sidebar, although you might be finding this confusing if this is your first time because you're just seeing icons, right? But what you need to do is to either expand it once again or leave it closed. However, you can simply hover over it and it's going to show you exactly what they stand for. And this makes things pretty much easier, right? Of course, you can invite teammates using this button once again. Advanced trial, you can click on it and it's going to take you to this page where you can choose the option you want, as we mentioned before. Now, you might have noticed that we're using the Asana web version, and it's important to note that Asana also has the desktop version where you can use it without opening your browser. So basically, this is up to you. Then at the top right corner right here, you can see Bradley Martin's workspace, which will be your workspace. When you click on the drop down, you can see some details such as how many days left for your trial, your admin console, your workspace, invite others, profile settings, and others. But at this point, we've been able to show you how you can create your project, add members to it, add different tasks to these projects, and basically move them along the production line. So these are the different stages which we've set, and this is really up to you. If you want to add other sections, rename them to what you want, and then you have your project working smoothly. So this is how you can use Asana for project management and succeed in it. We hope you found this tutorial helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.